Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about Git control. So, um, first of all, I just draw really basic um, layout of drawing. Yeah, like in general, GitLab or GitHub or in general Git control, so-called Git control. So you guys, like especially like newcomers, like people who just joined the software development, you have to know like all the like majority of the commands that we're going to use on an everyday base. So essentially, it's your bread, like to have knowledge in Git control. So yeah, and like this video essentially it's made specifically, for understanding like the main or the most important commands that used in Git control. So at least you should know these commands, in order to like develop on a daily basis. Okay, let's jump into that. So, right, uh, over here it's a basic chart. Essentially, I just wanted to show, like, for instance, just imagine, guys, um, nowadays, how, like, if you work as a part of team, because like all the companies, even startups, any company nowadays, you have like multiple developers. And imagine if we not centralizing the source code. In this case, everybody just create their own code and storing this code somewhere somehow, and it's going to be total disaster. It's going to be disorder, and that's not the way. It's going to be prone to different bugs, and yeah, pretty much we need testing. We need storage somewhere in a centralized place, and before it's stored by every developer or updated, right? For instance, okay, you can give you an example. A software developer working on some change. Software developer done with this change. What the next step? The next step, software developer has to store it somewhere, right? To to push this change to the original code, to the original program software or whatever your application is, in order like to make this change, right? But again, the rest of the team, they don't know if this was solved correctly, right? Or how the person going to store it, where the person going to store these changes. So that's where this issue, there are many issues, right, with that. And this is where Git control is solving it, right? And the most important thing to appreciate, Git control itself is just like you can treat it as a control, as the fundamental tool. But there are many different I would say products, right? Like GitHub, GitLab, and so on. So all of them, they using this base, this tool, which is Git control. So, and all of them, they using the same commands, right? So, and you as a developer, you have to know these commands in order to work as a part of team, right? All right. Again, back to the diagram. I showed here master, right? What is master? Essentially, master, just imagine it's a place where your production code is stored. When I'm talking about production, I'm talking about the actual running code, right? So you have the code that currently running somewhere, like you have infrastructure, I don't know, on the server, like your code is running, right? Your application is running. So, and that the actual code, the current code that you're storing in master, and it's up to date. The most important thing to appreciate, this code, it should be without any bugs and errors, ideally, but it's not always the case. But anyway, That's the main idea of this master. And then assume a person start working on some change. What happens? In this case, person should take the copy of the current of the. Again, this is the time, right? This is the time. This direction is time. So essentially, from past to future. And assume somewhere here, a person decided. One of the developers decided to start working on making some change. So essentially, person have to take a copy or state of the current state of the master. And when I'm talking about current state, I'm talking about the current state at that time. So person has to take a copy. And when person taking a copy, person creating his or her own branch. And that's why I called it working branch. Essentially, it's a copy of master branch. And essentially, this this working branch is going mirroring. It's mirroring, or essentially, it's the same. It contains the same code as the code of the current state of the master at that time. It's really important to understand it. And then after some time, a person, developer starts working on and start making some changes, right? So you can see essentially this is the interval. During this interval, it's a time, right? A person is developing, making some changes, developing stuff. And then later on, after some testing, when person satisfied with changes and tested it locally in local environment, developer decided, all right, it's time to push all these changes back to master. And the process that we call it merging back to master. So, and this is the time that when person merged it to back to master. But at that stage, before actually merging, like in all the main biggest companies, when developer merging stuff to master, and it's really important process, right? It's a really important event. Developer usually creates, or like during that time, we create so-called pool, merge pool. As far as I remember, that's how they call it. But anyway, the idea is when we create this pool, this merge pool should be approved by developers or reviewed by developers. So idea is, as we're working as a part of a team, and this moment is really important when actual code from your branch as a developer was pushed to master. It should be correct. It should be approved, and that's why we created this pool where the rest of developers, and usually these developers who approve changes, they are like they have really advanced level of knowledge, right? And when they're approving it, then essentially a person or developer can finally merge changes to master. But also, guys, it's quite complex. There are so many things behind the scene, and I just don't have enough time to explain all the aspects. I'm just going to stay focused on the core command of Git control. That's the idea of this video. Probably later on I will explain different stages, like how the process is going on, like how we're testing code, like how we're merging code and so on. But again, it's quite the process itself quite complicated. Okay, let's jump into the writing the commands in Git. All right, first, what I'm planning to do now. For instance, here you can see admin user invite. It's essentially it's a branch that currently I'm working on. So I would like to switch to master. For that, I'm going to type git checkout master. I'm going to switch to my local master in this case. Essentially, when I'm saying local, I'm saying there are local branches, and these local branches, they track in remote branches. And when I'm talking about remote branches, I'm talking about the remote, your code is stored somewhere remotely. But it's like a referencing, you know? You also have like your local code. And this local code, like it's going to be compared against remote state of the code, or against remote code essentially. For instance, assume we have remote master branch and we have local master branch. And if you make any changes on the master branch itself and try to compare with the remote master branch, you can do that based on the different commands. But anyway, I'm going to show you first. I don't want to confuse you guys completely. So yeah. Okay, now I switch to my local master branch. First thing, because it's master, as I mentioned, usually what we do as a developers, we would like to be sure that local master is up to date. What we're going to do in this case, we're going to run Git Pull. When I'm running Git Pull, hang on guys. When I'm running Git Pull, so yeah, when I'm running Git Pull, you can already see it's up to date. So essentially, the idea of Git Pull is we're pulling all the latest changes the latest state of master essentially. So that's how it is. Yeah. So all right. Now we sure that it's up. We can be sure it's up to date. So what I'm planning to do now, I'm going to take a copy of this branch, of this master branch. Git checkout -b, and whatever you would like to call your branch. For instance, I will call you tutorial. So now I created a local copy of local master branch. So essentially, if you would like to compare this local versus this local branch versus local master branch, you can run like git diff master, and you can see like there are not any differences. Like we don't have any differences, right? But if I don't know, if I would like to make some changes, whatever, even like I just place it on like space, right? And now if I run git diff, you can see even the space is showed, right? It's a difference. So this discrepancy is going to be showed by git control, which is really the real power, you know. That's how we can identify what kind of changes we've done and so on. So now if I reverse the change, if I run again, so yeah, there are no changes. Okay, so now I would like to, because this is the local branch that I created. Now I would like to create the this branch as a remote branch, right? Or push this local branch or copy of the master branch that I created and I call tutorial and going to push it remotely. What I'm planning to do, git push -u origin UIT. Origin, and for instance, I will call it the same way, right? So idea is git push, you push it remotely. -u, this flag, it allows you to track remote branch. So essentially, you're going to track your local branch, going to track your remote branch, which in this case is going to be tutorial. All right, I'm going to push. So, and now, essentially, what's going on? We have remote branch and we have local branch. Git status. Right, so, and to see remote branches, git, as far as I remember it's called, they comment git show -a. No, sorry. Okay, git branch. Okay, yeah, it's showing all the remote branches. Here we go. You can see it. But the most important thing you have to understand that like this tutorial branch now, it has a corresponding tutorial branch, which is remote branch. You can see here, right? So that's how it is. So, and now I would like, for instance, the next stage, I would like to make any change, right? For instance, I would like to make this kind of change. Console.log and test. All right, git diff, which is showing that when you run git diff, it's going to show the difference between your local branch and remote branch. But again, because this tutorial branch is tracking remote tutorial branch, it's going to show the difference between this local branch, tutorial local branch versus tutorial remote branch. And you can see the differences, console.log.test. So now, if I would like to push this change to this remote, to tutorial remote branch, what I have to do, I have to run git add -a. Okay, first of all, also I can see the difference, the file which is different, right? All the differences like based on files, right? If I run git status, I can see where the difference is in which file, right? So in this case, it says 3 categories, which is here, right? Cool. So now if I run git add -a, it's called staging. I'm staging this change, and the next stage it's called commit. Essentially git commit, and I need flag the -m, and I need to specify a comment. I'm going to write, okay, a minor change. So, and now next stage is the most important one. I'm going to push this change to remote branch. Git push. Git push. And guys, pretty much that's how you're pushing stuff, right? So, okay, now I pushed the latest change, and if you run status again, you cannot see any difference, right? You cannot see any difference because now remote branch have the same state as the local one. So, okay, also another one. If you would like to, okay, let's switch back to git checkout master. assume you would like to merge your change to back to master. What you can do, Git Merge, and the name of your branch, which is tutorial. Git Merge tutorial. And now because you're on local master, it's going to be merged to tutorial. And now you can see the change was merged, right? And yeah, now it's appeared here and it's already in master. But of course, like because it's master, I don't want to put this change to master. I just would like to show you guys how to do that. So that's how you're doing it. So, okay, I will go. Another thing is, guys, I'd like to show you how to delete your branch, right? After merging, you don't need your branch anymore, right? And you would like to delete it. Usually, you can do it like with the help of different products, but I usually use the command, which is, it's really important to know all the commands, the core commands, git control commands. Okay, anyway, I would like to delete now remote branch, tutorial branch. Git push delete origin tutorial. Git push delete origin tutorial, and let's try to delete it. Okay, it was deleted, right? But my local branch is still here. Now I would like to delete my local tutorial branch. Git branch dash delete tutorial. Now this branch is also gone. So I don't need these branches anymore because I kind of merged changes to master. But of course I don't want to merge them. And in order to start, in order to save your changes temporary, we also have so-called caching or cache. You can create like a cache. And the command that you can run, git stash first git status. Okay, because it's already committed. When I merge, it's kind of committed. You can see the one commit. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get checkout to UIT, to another branch, and I'm going to delete my local master branch. Git branch delete master, because I don't need this change, right? And now if I go checkout master, I'm going to check out remote master. And now again, I created like local copy of master and master branch, and it's tracking remote master, which again you can see here. Right, guys. So what else? I think the next important thing is to understand that there are so many different commands, but I think at least in this video I showed like the most important ones. But also like another case or other different cases that I would like to show later on, including how to solve merge conflicts, because sometimes when you when you try to merge back your changes to master, for instance, it can be completely different from your master state, right? The state of your changes. And then you have to solve so-called merge conflicts. And it's also another story. It can be also quite complicated. But still, all these core commands that I used in this video, you still have to understand them to know them, right? And yeah, just use it on an everyday basis. Thank you very much, guys, for your attention. And as I said before, I would like to publish at least a video a day, and I'm going to talk about really important tools and libraries that I'm using, about important tools like that, really important to know for any developer on a daily basis. And definitely, guys, if you're going to work or if you're already working as a software developer, so the, yeah, in tech industry, in IT industry, you have to know these tools, like Git control. It's really important to know this tool. It's really important to know the commands. And the only way I guess would recommend you just play around with these commands. It's all about repetition. Just rinse and repeat. Thank you very much, guys, for your attention. Hopefully it was helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to text me, or otherwise, please subscribe, give me thumbs up. Thank you, guys, and see you in next video. Goodbye.